everybody. It's Dr. Cindy Stark coming in for my regularly scheduled Tuesdays at 10 talks. I am so excited to have you here today, and I'm about to bust out of my skin because I have today a guest speaker. And I love bringing on guest speakers. Especially this woman because she has meant so much to me and my clients over the past few months. And her name is Lynn. I introduced the concept of what she does for a living on last week's talk. And for any of you guys that weren't there, I'm just going to kind of recap what that was. And and then she's going to pop on here in a minute. But as you're coming in, please write in hashtag live so I know that people are coming in and hearing me because I don't see anybody yet. And then if you're catching it on the replay, please type in hashtag replay and tell me where you're coming in from because I love seeing where people are joining me from. And if anything that Lynn talks to us about today resonates with you, it would just be the biggest honor and best compliment if you would just share this. Okay, so if you think that this message resonates with anything in you, then it probably resonates with people in your group and in your circle of friends. And I would personally love to get this concept and this like other way of thinking about illnesses and chronic conditions out to more people because I just think that in general we're just kind of stuck in a way of thinking where uh, we don't even realize what's causing us to become sick. All right, so Stacy and Kathy are here, so it's good to see both of you guys. Again, I'm Dr. Cindy Stark. I run Soul Circle Academy at night, where I have been a practicing physician for 30 years. Hey, Jenny. Just doing the best I can. I went into the profession of medicine and I became an internal medicine physician when I was 29, and I've been practicing medicine on a continuous basis, solid full time for 31 years. And though I do believe in my heart of hearts that everything we do helps people, and most all of us doctors and nurses went into this profession to help people, there is hey mom's in the house. There is also a component of we are a combination of mind, body, and spirit, and if all we ever do is just think, oh, I got this illness, or oh, I broke this joint, or this leg or whatever, or oh, I had to get this back surgery, and let me just go and get some a pill that will help mask the symptoms and help us go through our life, and then let me go and get seen by this surgeon and get it surgically corrected. That's one thing. It is one thing. Okay, that's one aspect of the healing. But what as I went into my 10th and 20th and 30th year of practicing medicine, what it became really apparent to me is that if we don't fix what the initial things were, the initial cascade of events that led to that problem, it's just going to keep recurring as time goes on. Hey, Melissa. And that's why I wanted to bring in Lynn today. Now, I'm having, unfortunately, tremendous technical difficulties out for the past 24 hours. And so she is right here on my phone. She's here with us. Lynn, I'm putting you up there. This is Lynn. And she can introduce herself, but she's just going to be down and you're just going to be hearing her voice because I'm not going to be sitting here having our talk holding up my phone like this. Okay, so she's here with us. And Lynn, why don't you just introduce yourself and tell everybody kind of what you do and kind of what you bring to the table as far as another level of healing.
All right. Good morning, everybody. As she said, I'm Lynn, and Cindy, thank you for having me on with you. I appreciate it greatly. I'm going to talk to you guys today about how you have not only a physical aspect going on in your body, but it's also tied into your mind and your soul. If you go into spirits being defined as it's a non-physical port of a person where your emotions and your character sit. It's like your mind and ego together. So spiritual healing focuses on like healing your emotions, your thoughts, your past experiences, and both your subconscious and your conscious mind. So the subconscious mind and the heart are truly the keys to your state of health and well-being. There's a multitude of ailments that we suffer with, recurring injuries, our family as well, having these issues generationally. And a lot of it has to do with not just the body. The body is a reactionary part that lets us know we need to slow down or we need to focus on something. And majority of the time, like Dr. Cindy said, medical professional are trained to look at the body and figure out where and how things are working and not working. On my aspect of it, there is an attachment and a very, very defined line of traumas and other ailments that occur because spiritually we are sick. And that could be due to certain traumas and things in your life and questions that we kind of need to ask. So each area of your body, including organs, has some sort of emotion attached to it. So, for instance, your lungs will carry sadness, which then will taken, if not healed or looked at, will start to form coughing problems and also then breathing problems and asthmas and things like this. So, what I'd love to do is open up the floor to you guys. I know last week a couple people put out there the types of ailments they have. And I looked those up and meditated in on it and also have some answers for you. And I would love if you throw in the comments below right now, and Dr. Cindy will let me know who's asking and what type of ailment it is, what you guys have going on, or family members or friends have going on that you would like a little bit more insight on.
Okay.
And if
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. And if there's something specific you wanted to talk about, or get a little bit more help on, please let both of us know, because we would love to take and work with you on it.
Yeah, so what I was going to say too, I wish so badly that we were side by side here so you can see both of our faces instead of just seeing me be silent and you know, but it's okay. Anyway, just I kind of wanted to ask as you guys are popping in any kind of ailments that not only you but other people that you know or people in your family kind of struggle with. I just want to ask you: has anyone had when you go to a doctor for some sort of, like, let's just say it's back pain or arthritis, have anyone ever kind of gone into the spiritual meaning of that, or are they just kind of quick to just give you a medicine to kind of take away the pain? Or I know one thing we as doctors always have to do is go through a battery of tests to actually diagnose you in the first place. I mean, to me, this whole uh, realm of what Lynn is a professional in has just been something, a completely brand new concept to me. And here I am, 52 years old. So anyway, it's just been a breath of fresh air to me, and it's also just been very enlightening as to what it is that's causing our problems. So anyway, um, so Kathy Smallwood is saying she would love to find the connection with her spirit and her brain. She said herself and her three sisters have the same brain disorder, and it's a pseudotumor cerebri. And what pseudotumor cerebri is like a buildup of I as a doctor, I've treated a lot of women with this. It's a buildup of CSF kind of on the brain, and sometimes what we have to do is literally just do spinal taps to remove the excess fluid over and over again, at intervals in people's lives. And again, it never takes care of the actual problem. It just takes care of the symptom of what were you having, Kathy? Like headaches. Okay, people are putting in all kinds of stuff, Lynn. Asthma and high blood pressure. And CSF, I'm sorry, Melissa, that is a cerebrospinal fluid. It's the fluid that goes all around it kind of bathes our brain and our spinal cord, so that our brain kind of has a buffer. Yeah, and Kathy said she's had hundreds of spinal taps. So you have to put a needle in the person's back and actually pull off the excess cerebrospinal fluid. It's kind of like the same type of thing that goes on with glaucoma, which is like an excess of fluid in the eyes. So yeah, anything with asthma and wheezing and sadness, Lynn, and high blood pressure.
Okay.
Okay.
So just really quick to talk to Kathy about doctor. Can you say that again?
Pseudotumor cerebri.
Okay, so from listening to what the doctor would do as far as the physical treatment for that, that is connected to your religious beliefs, actually. on a trauma scale. Um, Getting, and this is something else that I'm getting trained in right now, which is craniosacral therapy. CST treatments would be something that Kathy could look into. That is a mind, body, soul type treatment. It's manipulation of certain areas of the neck and inside the mouth and other areas, but it's pretty much tied to like your hardwiring for spirituality. So if this is something that's been passed down the family line, this is something you have to look at is, how hardwired are you to God? So it's attached to your crown chakra, which is at the top of your head. That is your connection with God and your religious beliefs and how they move you or hold you back in life. So just wanted to throw that out there for her. I hope that helps a little bit, Kathy.
Yeah.
And you said asthma was another one?
Yeah, asthma and anything in the I mean high blood pressure and aortic stenosis. Those are both just things in the arteries. So, but yeah, asthma. Let's do asthma. That's Jenny. She said she suffers from a lot of sadness, and she does have constant wheezing.
Well, that's absolutely the physical ailments of it. But asthma, breathing in emotionally represents taking on too much. You don't want to admit to limitations. You don't want to admit them to yourself as well. There's a need to be stronger than you are just to be loved by others. These are the thoughts that come with asthma. It's more so about trusting and letting go. And the inability to breathe out indicates a lack of trust that your breath will come back in. So it can be connected to grief, sadness, and detachment, which is, sadness is and grief is held in the lungs, but this is also in the area where your heart chakra is. So not having trust and feeling as if you need to be in a position where you are stronger than you are just to get that love in to your life, emotionally will take your breath away. So that is something maybe that you can look at and be more connected to, a little bit of letting go of that grief and that sadness, knowing that you and yourself are perfectly amazing and are able to receive and breathe in and breathe out everything that's offered to you. Would be a start on the spiritual and emotional aspect of it. And
Can I interrupt? So this person Jenny that had said this, everything you're saying is spot on. I'm actually getting tears in my eyes because of just how spot on that is. Because she does try to do a lot of things to help bring in love to her life through her family and everything else, and she just takes it all on. And it's just a lot of distance in her life and in her family. So that is huge. And then Lynn, Kathy said, "Well, this is an amazing." She said that's an amazing description. I was raised in a cult, so totally spot on with the brain. And she said, but then we went to church on Saturday. Oh my gosh! And it's three generations, or you and your sisters, or maybe your mom and your sister. Oh, and Jenny is like C and has like 25 exclamation points. My goodness. Okay, this is a little overwhelming already. She said it makes perfect sense. And so Michelle is saying, and I know she had put these in there last week, Lynn, about pelvic pain and
Okay.
some dizziness and recurring headaches.
Okay, so
I know you've already
hi,
looked up some of the,
Michelle.
yeah, Lynn is saying, hi, Michelle.
So when you deal with pelvic pain, that is in your sacral chakra area. Um, Naturally in life, your pelvic floor muscles tighten when you feel unsafe. It's a form of protection. And some of the questions that are asked in this type of pain in the pelvic area is, do I feel safe in my own environment? Do I feel secure in terms of my job or your finances or your home? And when the pelvic floor isn't working well, there's often a feeling that we've lost our sense of personal power. So when someone's stripping you of that personal power, that creates the tightening of the pelvic area. And if you're constantly in a sense that your power was taken away, your pelvic area is naturally supposed to tense and release and tense and release. It holds that protection power too tightly, and that's what creates those problems in the pelvic area. It can also be related to birthing, anything with children being birthed, any type of sexual abuse. It also can just be the fact that from these issues that have happened in life, it holds that the pelvic area, the sacral region, holds that energy in there and will not release it until you emotionally allow yourself to feel and heal it. So to help this, you have to regain some sense of power in your life. And the way that we regain power, you guys will probably think this is oxymoron, is to actually surrender. Surrender to what you cannot change. And in doing that, you allow yourself to heal. And that sacral area of your body, your lower pelvic region, will then not be constantly holding that energy, but it's going to be operating proper, so you're tensing and letting go. Because naturally, until you actually, we'll say, clear the reticular activating system, if it's someone or something in your life that's taken and left that energy there, or if it's just your refusal to actually see that you have lost a sense of power and be okay with that, it will continuously create pains and come back and forth time and time again. And that can create pains with birthing. It can create pains with your period, if anybody still gets that. Anything like that too. Migraines or headaches. Is that another one, Dr.
Yeah,
Cindy?
yeah, yep. So all that you just said too, I know Michelle personally, and everything that you just said, definitely is stuff that she's suffered from her childhood too. And but she's also saying some headaches. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so migraines or headaches. Migraines are a big warning sign. Your body is trying to let you know that there's something going on. It's involved with anxiety, mental fatigue, and shock a lot of the time, or overexcitement. So that is attached to your third eye chakra, which is right in between the middle of your eyes in the furrow of your head. There you go. A lot of times chronic headaches happen when people suppress their emotions. They start to tend to ignore unpleasant things that are happening around them. And if we don't allow ourselves to feel our emotions in due time and release them in a proper way, whether it be crying, screaming, driving in the car, looking at these things, they'll fester into chronic headaches. So another example of getting headaches and migraines would be that a lot of people, and I know all of us on here, ladies and gents, we second guess ourselves. And when you're constantly second guessing yourself, you're leading to having chronic toxicity, and it accumulates in your brain over time, and it accumulates in your blood system, and it will pop a migraine out of nowhere, and you're like, I was totally fine. Your brain is overthinking. And every time you go to make a move, you then double think it. So now you're making your brain do double time work. So obviously it's a muscle. And when your muscles contract and retract, if you are constantly thinking, you're keeping that muscle in constant constriction. So again, third eye chakra says to just trust and allow God and the universe to move you to a state where you can feel more free and more open to knowing that you're making the best decision for yourself at that time, and just kind of flow with it. Faith is a main component in any of these illnesses.
Lynn, can I say? Can I read 3 comments that are coming through right now? So Kathy's saying a good primal yell always does everyone some good. And then
Absolutely.
Jenny says, what you're saying is not an oxymoron at all. Just let go of, she said, I just let go of everything and I feel so much lighter. I see my kids going through so much bull crap. And then a friend of mine from work, Tracy, is saying, all this is literally me. And then, of course, Melissa's saying, Lynn is on fire this morning. Fire, fire,
Well,
fire.
thank you, Ms. Melissa, do you want to hear about your big toes? Because I went and I discovered.
Yeah, Melissa, you want to hear about the big toe, the pain? You said you had pain, I think you said, in both your big toes. So she's looked that up. And don't forget to do the high blood pressure from the very beginning. That, yeah, okay. Okay, all right. Well, she might have to come back to that one. We'll see. But yeah, tell Melissa about her big toes, or do it however you want to.
Does she say she wants to know?
Yep, she hasn't responded yet, but just she'll catch it
Okay.
later. Yeah.
All right, so last week I wrote down because Melissa had mentioned something about like arthritic pains or something with her big toes. Now, as I said before, every aspect, every organ, every body part is attached to certain traumas or beliefs and emotional patterns that we have. So, each toe, even your baby toe, have something to do with what you're holding. The big toes are called the great toe. It's the ethereal toe. That's your connection toe. It's all about your destiny. And in that, saying that, it is also related to your liver and your spleen. So if you have pain or discomfort with your big toes or arthritis in them, it could be related to self definition, ego, and possibly feeling like you're above the law. So, are you walking your destined path? That's the main question. And the left toe, the left big guy, represents your relationship with your spiritual side, as well as any type of emotional self. And the right is your life purpose and career. So if your toes are arthritic and they're starting to bend, or you find that they're hurting and bending specifically at certain times, you really want to take a look at the bend in the toe is meaning more likely that you've settled for less or you've been forced off path. And damn it, you know you have, and your toes are letting you know by hurting. So they're trying to give you a signal that you have to kind of repurpose, kind of slow down the above the law or the ego for a little bit and allow yourself just to stand firmly with all five toes on each side in your own power and allow yourself to be moved in that sense. Um, Also, you know what I wanted to get to? I'll get back to the high blood pressure in 1 second if I could. Is that okay?
Yeah, and I know Melissa too. I know her personally, and I feel like this is really resonating from what I know from her because she was on one path of her life, but she's walking a whole nother path, and she's blazing a completely new trail that no one else has blazed before her. You know, the whole thing, the purpose of Melissa's life is to end childhood trauma one family at a time on a global scale. So, I think that probably she's feeling it in her toes because she's literally walking a different path. Okay, go ahead.
And then also too with that saying that these things happen as we change and we grow and evolve as humans and as spiritual beings. We can be carrying a lot of this from the past until we actually recognize that we're making changes in our life. Our body will let us know it's time to change this, and if you don't attend to it, say this started when you were 10 or 7 or 12, you can carry this into your 50s, and then at your point of your journey, that's when God says, all right, well, it's time for you to learn this. So let's keep putting you in pain until you search for more than just a physical meaning for this. So that could be holding just old things that you're letting go of. And as you start to pay attention and recognize what it means and put more focus on thinking about, are you on your destined path, and you start to open that path for yourself, you'll notice that those problems won't be so severe. Because as we age, obviously our body has held these things for God knows how long. You're going to have some kind of physical ailment that stays. But how strong and how often and how much it's delimitate, like it's taking away from your life, is really up to you and what you pay attention to with your different chakras and everything in your body.
And can I
Is your
add
mom
some?
still on here?
Yeah,
Oh, sorry.
my mom is still on here, but let me just add one more thing right there too, guys. As a doctor, I think one thing that again it took a decade or two, maybe three, for this to kind of hit home to me. But as Lynn was saying earlier, we're not just a body; we're also a mind, body, and soul. And I think so many times people just think that they're just destined to suffer with whatever aches and pains they have in their body. And I think a big component of what causes problems is that no one realizes the power that you have with the mindset that you don't have to be this way. And so I know for me myself, if I was just expecting, well, I'm going through menopause, so I'm going to gain 40 pounds because that's what happens. And then my if I don't control my body with my mindset, then I'm going to start eating certain things that are going to make that actually come true to me. And so anyway, it's just you have to believe that you can have perfect health too, so that you can have 100% access to the power in your mind. Okay, so yes, my mom is still on. So you want to say?
Okay. Well, I think Mom had some problems with her hands this past week, and a main thing that I know a lot of people suffer with, especially as we get older, is arthritis. And arthritis is attached to your root chakra, which is like the top of your thighs all the way down to the floor, where your feet plant down. And the root chakra is a symbol of how you plant yourself in your own life, how you feel financially, physically, emotionally in the world that you've created around yourself. So with arthritis, if you hold anger and resentment from things in the past, if you carry any type of guilt or remorse or shame, if we, and we, a lot of us have a problem with this, I'll admit it myself too, but if you have a problem possibly with forgiving yourself or others, that tends to make an everyday life, you complain about life and you worry, but you don't want to make changes. So the worry then seats itself into your stomach area at times, and then also into your blood as it's flowing. It's stopping the flow of what's supposed to be happening in your life. So if you feel like you're stuck or limited, uh, arthritis is basically it's the cartilage that covers the ends of the bone, and it has a high water content. Now, spiritually, water symbolizes emotions. So if your bones have high water content and your emotional state is in a state of anger or resentment or just not forgiveness, it will hold there in that cartilage, as well as like there's a gel-like protein, it's collagen, that's in that area as well. So if there's an imbalance between these two, the joints become stressed and inflamed, and it's like your outer world and your inner world reflection of each other, and everything comes from within. And they always say, as within so without, as above so below. So anything that's inwardly not being let go of and being held will reflect in that emotional content of your bones and your cartilage not working together. So, questions to ask yourself would be, specifically too from the past, where is it that you're not allowing yourself to be the person that you've been attempting to be for your entire lifetime? Why are you not allowing yourself to forgive yourself or others for things, knowing that it's all part of our path, and it is putting us in a place where we have to really take a look and recognize that we don't have to hold this blockage in our body and allow it to come through our physical ailment with arthritis in different areas. Now, the hands, particularly, you have right and left hand, and these are the putter outers and the puller inners. So you're grasping for things and you're pulling in things, but are they good? Are they right? Do they feel good to you? So those are some questions I would say to ask with anybody who has arthritis in any area of their body, but hands specifically, like what I just spoke on.
Okay. So one more question, and I think we're almost running out of time. Thank you so much. This has
Oh.
been very helpful. I would love for you to come back and we can do this again, maybe in a month's time or something like that. So Melissa says she is above the law. Back to Melissa and her great toe. She is above the law, and Deanne says we all are. And Melissa's asking, uh, how big does she have to get? This already seems a lot, and is are her big toes ever going to feel any better?
Well, I'm going to ask you, Melissa, are you walking your destined path now? It's like I said, if it's your left toe, it's representing your relationship with the spiritual and emotional side of yourself, and the right is your life purpose and career. So what is it that puts you above the law? What this allows you from just settling into your God-given gifts and beauty, and allowing yourself to just know that you are on this path and nothing will take you off it, but you don't have to fight that If it's yours, nothing can take it away. If that is your God given granted path and you are attempting to follow it, which I know you are,
Yep.
nothing can take it away. So you don't have to fight for it. You don't have to. And that'll ease yourself into feeling your roots of your feet going into the ground, knowing that 100% there's nothing more that you need to do but just be you and allow yourself to um, define yourself the way you want to, not the way that people think you should, or so on and so forth, if that makes sense.
Yep. I'm gonna, Lynn, I'm gonna bring you back onto the camera so that the phone can be on the camera so we can wrap this up, okay?
Absolutely.
Okay. So I just didn't want to do this for the entire time because of the reflections in my house and everything. Anyway, so this is Lynn. It's been my pleasure having her here this morning. As we've been going through, there's already other people, and it's just been amazing. Kathy's talking about some juvenile rheumatoid arthritis that her daughter had at age 2. And then another friend, Mary Slater, is talking about lupus and trigger fingers and all kinds of things and Native American boarding schools. Anyway, what I'm saying, guys, is as you're coming in through the replay, if anybody has any ailment that they've been dealing with, anything that they would like to know the spiritual meaning of, Melissa has put in a Louise Hay document that you can just quickly look it up, but then just type it in here. And Lynn and I will be doing this again probably in about a month's time, maybe live, in Chicago. Maybe we could do it live in Chicago together. But it's been our pleasure being here with you guys this morning. Thank you for your attention. Sorry for all the technical difficulties, but we will be seeing you guys next time. I'll be here next Tuesday, and you guys have a great day. Lynn, do you want to say anything?
Thank you guys for coming on. I appreciate you. And yes, if somebody did put the Louise Hay book in there, it's a very good start. But also, me and Dr. Cindy both work with people on these physical, emotional, and spiritual aspects. So if you guys are interested in actually taking care of and getting a little bit more help with any of these things, please let her know. I would love to, and I'm sure she would love to work with you more on going deeper into the meanings behind all of these things that are going on physically, mentally, and spiritually. But I appreciate you guys for listening, and I will definitely get some more insight from what you guys are talking about and come back with some more information for you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And again, if anyone wants to have some one-on-one time with Lynn too, she's a multi-talented healer, especially in the spiritual realms and energy healing. And so just DM me and I can get you in touch with her. Okay. All right. Thanks everybody. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Mhm.